views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, I'll keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hello, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page. Welcome to my show. Today's special guest on Zoom, a friend of mine, is Leigh Duncan, an author. She works as a writer and many other things. She's a very talented person, and I love her to pieces. Welcome to my show, Leigh.
Thank you so much for having me, Patty. It's a pleasure and an honor. I've been looking forward to meeting you and appearing on your show. I've heard so many good things about it, and some of the episodes that I've watched have been so incredibly interesting.
I do a lot of research.
You do. It shows.
Oh, my stars. 15 years, my friend. 15 years.
How many shows do you have altogether?
775 or something.
My goodness, that's
One
a
a week.
lot.
One
a week.
shown each weekend, 3 times the same show, Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also streamed online.
That's wonderful. That's where I've been able to see it, and it's very helpful to be able to go online and see some of your past episodes.
Yes. Thank you. 15 years is a long time, my friend.
It is. It is.
So, where were you born and raised?
Oh, I was born in just outside of Boston, but my family moved to Florida when I was only 5. So we've been mostly in Florida for the biggest part of my life.
Well, basically, you were a Bostonian, but now you're Floridian.
That's true. That's true.
Did I say
Floridian?
Floridian.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm Canadian. Oh. I like to share
Yeah.
a wee bit about myself too,
Yes.
How many people are in your family?
Who is in my family? Right now, it's just my sister. I have one surviving aunt. She's in her 90s.
Wow.
But my sister lives very close by, about 20 miles away, and we get to see each other usually once a week. And we talk on the phone almost every day.
Does she write like you?
She does not. She is into arts. So she does a lot of crafting, beadwork, stained glass work, and just all kind. She's always exploring something new. I admire her for that.
I like to interview her too. I'm into art, sculpture, painting, pastels, oil painting, etc., etc.
That'd be great. She would love it.
You two together? Oh boy, such a duo. So, your mom and dad, what did they do? How did they influence you?
Well, they always wanted us to pursue our dreams. My father only had an eighth grade education. He was a farm boy from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought education was extremely important. And he pushed us, both of us, to go to school, get our high school degrees, and then go on to college. My mother also thought that education was the key to success.
Right.
And she was very excited when I decided to go to the University of Florida. Go Gators. So Yeah. And my sister went to Florida State. The two schools are rivals. So
Oh.
we have a lot of fun during the football season, cheering for the opposite teams, and especially at the end of November when Florida plays Florida State. That's always the highlight of the year.
You majored in what?
I majored in education, and I ended up teaching school in private schools for several years after I graduated. So
What grade?
I started out in kindergarten, and because it was a small private school,
Mhm.
I eventually worked my way through all of the grades up through sixth. And then they threw me in with the high schoolers, and I threw up my hands and said, "That's
Oy,
enough.
oy vey.
That's enough."
No.
Now, I did take additional courses when I was started getting more interested in writing.
Mhm. How old were
I
you
took,
then?
well, I've always wanted to write a book from the time I was able to print my letters.
Mhm.
I wanted to write a book.
Mhm.
And I I played with it. I wrote poems and I wrote short stories, but I never really got serious about it until I was in my 40s.
Wow.
And that's when I knew if I was ever going to fulfill my dream of writing a book and having it published, I needed to get serious about it. So at that point, I was working full time. I
Mhm.
had two young children
Wow.
and a husband who was very, very pro work, so dedicated to his job. And so I started setting the alarm at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I would get up and I would write for 2 hours before it was time to get the kids and hubby and myself all ready and out the door to go to work or school. And I did that for a year and I finished that first book.
Mm.
And it was awful. It was absolutely awful.
What's it
It's,
called? Is it on the, is it
oh, I
on?
think it was called Dana and the Spy, or something silly like that. Uh, but it was pretty bad, and I couldn't sell it, of course. And that was way before the time that Amazon allowed you to self-publish, which is a good thing I never did because it's really bad. So
You self-publish yourself?
I do some self-publishing. I've also written for Harlequin
Mm.
and for Hallmark, and that is one of my Hallmark books. That's the first book I wrote for Hallmark. It was based on the movie Journey Back to Christmas. It
Aha,
was
movie. Hey,
yay!
Mazel tov.
It, it was the first book Hallmark published, and it was introduced on the Home and Family show.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Remember the Home and Family show?
Oh, yeah, many movies ago.
Yeah,
Is it still
yeah.
around? Or,
I know they closed down a couple of years ago.
oh, I
So
wanted to see it too. Do you have it
it
on?
was,
Is it on YouTube?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Go look it up, kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like a very good story about uh journey back to Christmas.
It tells the story of a nurse at the end of the war,
Ah,
and her husband has been killed,
mm,
and she has lost her purpose in life because she doesn't have a husband, and she doesn't it's at the end of World War II. She doesn't have a husband, she
mhm,
has no children, so she feels like she doesn't have a purpose.
mhm.
And things happen where she time travels a little into the future,
Oh,
and she realizes all the small things that she's done in her life and what a difference they have made for people in the future. And it gives her that sense of purpose that she was looking for.
It sounds like
Um,
it's a wonderful Christmas.
it is a little bit. It's a little bit on a takeoff for that. Now, one thing that Hallmark allowed me to do with that was we had to stay very close to the movie, couldn't deviate from the movie, but the movie kind of leaves things up in the air. And I was able to write an epilogue that completed the story arc and brought our whole picture in a nice circle. So
You
yeah.
know, with 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 this movie, writing does add everything in it.
Yes.
Describing, saying who this person was, their personality, everything. In the movie, it just like uh memorizing words and saying them and not really being them. Because it's more
Right.
personal, the book, than the movie itself.
Right. I'm in the book, I was able to show the insight into the characters' motivations and their thought processes in making the decisions that they made.
Yeah.
Where in the movie, you don't really get that side of things. So it was very more introspective for me to write the book.
You had sent me several books. Uh, First of all, the first one was you had done Journey Back to Christmas, which was done on a Hallmark Channel original movie.
Right.
Let us go to the next one. And I don't know what order these are in, dear.
All right.
Christmas at Sugar Sand Inn. You have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's 5 books in that series.
Which
Mhm.
came first?
The Hallmark books I wrote for Hallmark for a number of years. I wrote 5 books for them,
Mhm.
and then Hallmark Publishing went out of business,
Um,
and I had to figure out what I was going to do next. It was just about the same time as COVID had struck,
no.
and so we were all separated in our own homes, and I needed to feel a connection to people. So I
You
came
have
up
it?
with this, yeah,
You had
with
COVID?
this. I have COVID?
Yeah.
I did it at one point, yes. Yeah. But during the quarantine phase, when we were stuck at home and we couldn't go to work or go to the gym or, those kinds of things, um, I felt like I needed more of a connection with people. So I came up with the idea of 4 best friends, one of whom inherits an abandoned beach house
Mhm.
on the Coast of Florida. And she and her 3 friends take a road trip down to look at this house, thinking they're going to put it on the market. And together they decide that they'll renovate it
Mhm.
and turn it into a first class hotel.
Oh,
And and that's the story of that series.
well, what's it called? What's the title of that?
The Sugar Sand Beach series
Okay, it was your first one, Sugar Sand Inn.
is The Gift at Sugar Sand Inn. That's the
I
first book in the series.
I see one picture of this inn.
Isn't that beautiful?
Where'd you get that picture, girl?
That picture
Postcard?
is actually that picture is based on the house that my aunt owns in Troy, Alabama. My Aunt Betty, I had to call her and say, Aunt Betty, can I use your house on the cover of a book? And she was thrilled. So we were able to move it to the beach.
Did you get royalties for that?
No, but she did get signed copies of all the books, and she tells all her friends.
When did you learn to do writing, being an author? how old were you?
When I published my first book,
Yeah,
or I was, that was in 2010.
2010.
So,
That's 15
I,
years ago.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you were
Yep,
about yay high.
I was in, I was in my 50s.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, I was. I had
Older
been
than you.
I had been writing full time for several years and not getting anywhere with it. I had assembled quite the stack of rejection letters,
Oh,
and finally, I was down to one publisher, and they had taken over a year to hold on to my work and not tell me whether or not they were going to buy it. And the phone rang one morning and I was doing dishes in the kitchen and I picked up the receiver. And when I looked at the display and I saw Harlequin
hello.
Enterprises in the display, I started to cry. Because I knew by then that publishers do not call unpublished writers unless they have really, really good news to tell them. And so there they were. They wanted to buy my lighthearted story of a woman who has moved to Cocoa Beach on the same day that the evacuation orders go up and a hurricane is on its way.
Wow.
And she does not understand that those hurricane evacuation orders apply to her
Mhm.
until a hunky cop comes knocking on her door
Hello.
and saying, "Girl, you got to get out of town." So-
And she did with him.
and she
Oh no.
she did. She was one of the last people across the causeway to escape Cocoa Beach, and that story became The Officer's Girl. That's yeah.
How many series of books did you write altogether?
Oh,
The different
different
characters.
Series.
This
One, two,
Sugar Sand Inn.
um,
Was
probably seven or eight series of books, and then several standalone books in addition to that.
so the mission back then when you first started was what?
Just to present people with a lighthearted, um, almost comical romance. Boy meets girl, happy ever after, a promise of future.
Right?
And then now, my friend Barbara Samuel says, uh, as a writer of women's fiction, I may not save the world, but I might be able to save one woman for one afternoon. And that's what I try to do with my books. I try to save one woman for one afternoon, give her something light, something hopeful, something encouraging, something to brighten her day.
That's it.
And,
That's what we
and
need.
that's what I'm trying to do with the women's fiction books that I write.
Is a positive.
Positive, always uplifting.
So that's the main theme running through them all. Treasured Coast. Up Homecoming series. Is that another bunch?
The Emerald Bay books, the Treasure Coast books,
Mm-hmm.
that's another women's fiction series. It's 6 books. It's set on the Treasure Coast of Florida, which is a little bit south of where I live.
Yeah.
I live near Cape Kennedy and Port Canaveral. And just south of us is an area called the Treasure Coast. And it gets its name because in 1715, a treasure fleet of Spanish ships shipwrecked off the coast of Florida. And lots of gems and jewels and gold were lost in those shipwrecks. And sometimes they wash ashore on our beaches. And so we have the name the Treasure Coast.
think I better go to Florida.
There, come on down. We'd love to have you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I like you. Over
so
the
the
years.
the Treasure Coast books, the Emerald Bay books, they focus more on family. There's an 80-year-old character, Margaret Dane Clayton, who owns an inn that's been in her family for generations, and she runs the inn by herself. Well, she's getting a little bit on up there in years, and it's hard for her to do that by herself anymore. So she asks her daughter and her nieces if they can help her run the inn, but they all have utterly packed and very important lives that they can't give up.
Mhm.
They come to help her for a little bit, and she reaches the decision that she's going to put the inn on the market.
Mm.
But before she does, she has one last request
What?
to have a family reunion at the inn. And the girls come together, they're all in their 50s. They come together to make that happen for her. And that transpires over the course of those 6 books.
Wow.
Yeah. And each one of those women finds some value in living in Emerald Bay again, coming back to their roots and experiencing the things that make family important.
Do you
Yeah,
tour with your books?
I do some. I do some. And
Go to tour after you see your grandkids?
yeah, I'm hoping to arrange a couple of signings while I'm up in Maryland seeing the grandkids.
Mhm.
One at Turn the Page, Nora Roberts bookstore,
Mhm.
and one at A Likely Story in
Well, likely
Sykesville,
story.
Maryland. Hmm. Yeah.
You'll be able to send some of your books so for our silent auction for River Drums event in June.
Yes, definitely.
And they'll be watching this show of ours, us talking. So,
That'd be.
what would you like to say to my audience? To share with them?
Oh, don't ever give up on your dreams. That's my biggest thing. Don't give up. Don't let the fact that you're 50 years old
Oh,
and have never published a book get in the way of becoming a published author, because it can happen.
Leigh Duncan, you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
a friend to have, and a
Thank you.
very creative one too.
Thank you so much, Patty. I really appreciate that we were able to talk today. This
I,
has been a lot of fun.
and there are ebooks of yours or audiobooks.
Yes, yes, the ebooks, print and audio are all available through Amazon, and audio is also available through Audible.
Audible.
Mhm.
I spell it A-U Audible. Okay, never mind. I'm not reading. Okay, well, thank you, dear. And I'm
Thank you
not,
so much.
oh, I don't want to take off right now because I love chatting with you.
Oh,
There's
well,
so much.
we can talk off the record.
Okay, well, okay, let's do that. Okay, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page, thanking Leigh Duncan, an author of one of the best I've seen in books. So we'll see you next week, and God bless.
I know you're hungry, starving. You've been searching
His love, and He has promised in His word that He will be with you even until the ends of the earth. The living Word of God, Jesus Christ, will be with you always. May He bless you. Hallelujah.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until we meet again, Godspeed, my love. God is with us always, for the rest of all our